Right, hang on a minute, guys. We've come straight in. We ain't done the countdown. As always, everybody, it's 9 o'clock. Michael's already drinking. Look, you've caught him out.
This is medicine. This is medicine. It's not what you think it is. Well, it could be, but it isn't. Right, I've got a fuzzy old picture tonight. Perhaps it's me. Perhaps I'm going. Perhaps I'm
Mate,
old.
it could be. That's because he's on the fourth. He's got a fuzzy picture. He's on his fourth bottle of wine. Hey, my picture's a bit fuzzy. Anyway, people, listen. It's lovely. It's lovely to see you all. I'm lucky to be here because on Saturday, a young 17-year-old kid tried to kill me in my velomobile. He had me on two wheels, and I'm very, very lucky to be here. But luckily, I'm all right. My velo's all right. He just side-checked me. I was turning into a junction, and he said he was late for a hockey match. And I said, well, you're lucky I'm not dead, bro. Shook him up a bit. Didn't bother me too much because I was okay and everything. So, yeah, be careful out there, people. Be very careful. They're everywhere. They're among us. They live among us. They're all too busy now. I've got to get here. I've got to get there. No care for anybody else. Overtaking right on a junction. It is scary, scandalous, but it is what it is. I'm still here. So, Michael, lovely to see you, darling. How you been? You had a good week?
I've got to find something to do. I'm bored shitless. So once Maxine, well, you know,
I'm bored shitless.
Yeah, even at my age, the bowels are still working perfectly. But yeah, I'm going to find something. So I was going to ask someone to tell me what can I do, but it's like asking you, like, you're going to get the comments, aren't you? I'll tell you what you can do, mate. I'll fucking tell you what you can do. Like, yeah, I can imagine Alan coming. Alan might come on and sort of say, "I'll tell you what to do." You know, he's a mole catcher. You know, I mean, fleas. You know, but anyway. So
nothing wrong with catching moles, Mike. It needs to be done. These things need to be done. You'll be surprised how many people see. We all seem to think trivia is trivia, but when we understand that we lock ourselves into people's world, so put yourself into someone's reality, right? Let's just say you're 82 years of age. You're sat at the back door. You're polishing your teeth. You're combing whatever hair you've got left, and you've got your glasses on, and all of a sudden you're looking out your back window, and this fucking mole pops up out of an hole, right? Scares you shitless, and there's nothing you can do because you can't get out your chair, you can't get in the garden. So who are you going to call? You're not going to call Ghostbusters. You're going to call Alan Merritt.
You are.
And what he's going to do, he's going to go around there, sort these moles out, and he's going to make that bloke very, very happy. So I've always found it fascinating that we should try and immerse ourselves in people's what makes them feel good, what makes them what makes them happy, what makes them relieved. There was this lad when I was a very young rascal, about 6 or 7 years of age. I was always out on the streets. As soon as I could get up, I was out. Mum would drag me in for dinner. But there was this bloke, right? And this was his life. He was probably a bit, as we call it, simple back then. But back in the day, in the 70s, we used to call people fucking retards. And we got away with it because if someone had slight thing, was he retarded? And if you didn't turn the telly off when your dad told you to, he said, are you retarded? I just told you to turn the telly off. So these are the words we used to use, right? But anyway, this lad used to go around and collect all the redeemable bottles. And he would get his few pence and he would buy matches. And with these matches, he would scrape the gunpowder off into an old bullet cartridge, and he would put a nail in the end of it with a bit of string, and he'd flick this thing round and he'd throw up in the air, and it'd come down with such a loud bang. All the dogs in about 3 mile radius would go right, and it was as funny as you like. But what I'm saying is that was this guy's life. That's what made him tick. That's what made him happy. Now, if you had people like that out on the streets today, your councils would be round locking them up and throwing the key away. But he wasn't harming anybody. This is the thing I'm trying to come to. That was his world. That's what he wanted to do.
Yeah, it's true. We used to call them Mongols and spastics and all kinds of horrible names we had.
Didn't we? Collect.
Yeah.
Well, we used to collect for the spastics, and it was this little plastic thing you put money in. It was all collect. But this is the thing. See, I don't understand all the wokey stuff where you can't. Oh, you're so offensive. You can't say this word. And so you're bringing about your own fucking misery.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it? I mean,
yeah, it is. So anyway, all those we've offended out there already tonight, we do apologise. The others were bollocks. It is what it is. We tell it how it is on this channel. Anyway, my mate Jesus Jones, he's been telling me about a good friend of mine, Daddy Dragon, Graham Moore, and I know Graham very, very well. We've just put the comments up in the chat. You can see it's a Rumble group, and Graham's getting really stuck in, getting very passionate. He's a proper Englishman, and he proper stands up for himself and other people. And Daddy Dragon, round of applause to you, bruv. You are a proper dude. So anyway, Mike, what was we chatting about just before we went live? You were telling me about something or other about hospitals. We were talking about hospitals.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, it's now coming out. I mean, it's everybody's been exposed for this COVID cock up and cover up, because there's so many people now saying my mum and dad, my granddad, they all died. We couldn't get near them, and it's not just a few. It's thousands and thousands and thousands of people are saying. And I suppose everybody's got someone said died in hospital of COVID. Well, when I was a kid, when both my granddads died, they died of pneumonia. They went in for something else and they got pneumonia and died. It's the old man's disease. It takes you away, which is the natural way. What they've done here is I think they've helped them on their way, and I think that's to save money. I really believe that the government and governments around the world deliberately committed genocide of the population. And I think they got 190 or 200,000, and they thought, perhaps we've gone a little bit strong here. We're going to get found out for too much. And I'm sure they will, because you can't, because there's no autopsies. Nobody, so you could do what they like. They could pump you full of everything. And like my mate lived in Cyprus, and he's recently died. Now he got dementia, and his wife said that she'd seen him. He was fine. He just had the occasional lapse of memory, and then she saw him. He said, "Don't come in for a week." And she got a phone call and said he died.
Oh my goodness!
What did he die of? She said, he died of dementia. She said, but he was in a home, because he was, the only problem with him was she couldn't look after him because he couldn't control his bladder and his bowels. So that was the major problem with him. So she couldn't deal with that. So she put him into a home. But he was lucid and he had a memory. He knew who she was. He knew about this. He talked about the kids and all that. And he was fine. He just had this problem and just the occasional lapse of memory. So he could have gone on. He could have lived on for God knows how long. And he died. And so, and she said, "I want an autopsy." No autopsies. No fucking autopsy. No.
You've got to question it all, Mikey. You've got to question it. We've had a woman within the last 2 weeks who has had several of the vials put into her body. She went and did what she was asked to do. She went along. She had it done. She believed. But she's been speaking out. Well, she started to do live streaming. I don't know what platform it was on, Facebook or wherever. I'd probably say Facebook, because it seems to be a very good place to live stream. Well, anyway, because she's speaking about the reactions and how it's made her feel and everything, they've sectioned her. They've come and sectioned her. They've come and arrested her. They've taken her, and she is currently under mental health. She is now sectioned. She is not free to leave and not free to roam the great country that we have. And listen, the motive behind this is that she was speaking out. Now, in times gone past, we've seen people like Holly Greig, Melanie Shaw, that's in Rampton prison at the moment, speak out about prolific abuse, sexual abuse by people that work in the state, judges, social workers, and police. And I can remember speaking to Melanie Shaw the day the police come and arrested her, and she's been in Rampton ever since. So the system, whenever you speak out about something that's really, really hot potato and you start commanding an audience, they will come and section you and
Is this
throw the key.
is this the one that Alan talks about? Is that the one? Is it
Yes,
Alan? Yeah, I thought so.
yeah,
Yeah, he
Melanie
knows.
Shaw.
If he comes on, I hope he comes on later on, but he can tell us a bit
Yeah.
more about that. But I'm sure he will. But it's now incumbent on us now to take issue with people. This poor woman's been banged up. Alec Abbey. It's incumbent on us to sort of to take issue with them and also to vote these fuckers out. Now, we've had this conversation before about if we vote them out, who do we put in? You've got Richard Tice. I mean, and I mean these people. But then again, with the Reform Party and all these little 18 parties have joined up or to try to pick up the votes from disillusioned Conservatives. Well, when it comes to a general election. No matter what we do, the Conservatives and Labour seem to do this. And I'll give you an idea to say how this usually works. If you look at what's happened in America at the midterms, the Americans said there was going to be a red wave. They said that the Republican Party is going to sweep away all these people committing all these problems, like this woman, this woman in the governor of New York. She is the woman who won't get rid of the district attorney, who are letting people out on a no bail freedom. They commit a crime and they just let go. They're out before they're been processed. One guy, 17 charges of sexual assault and everything else, then was let out. And then that very next day or so, he raped a woman who was a 43-year-old woman, robbed her, and left her there. There's people pushing people onto the railway tracks. We're getting it here occasionally now. There are people roaming around the streets and committed all kinds of crimes. One woman was so badly beaten she's lost her eye by one guy, and he was not arrested.
No way.
This is America. So now, what's for me, we follow America rather closely. I reckon that in the midterms, the Blues, the Democrats, these are the people who are for the woke lefty lovies who want to teach the kids about LGBTQ, want to teach the kids nothing about their history, but want to ram down socialist politics down their throats. These people they're the Democrats. The Republican Party, they're the party who want to reform that. They want to keep their gun laws and all kinds of stuff like that. But they want to make America produce make it fuel independence. Biden has said, no, we're going to stop all that. We're not going to have our own fuel independence. What we're going to do, we're going to go green. And that's what's happening around the world. We're going green to do what? The point I'm making is that I think that the America could break in half. That you might get another other states start seceding from the union because the divide now is so great that I cannot see how these two sides can work alongside each other. The hatred now and the remarks going across. I mean, the Democrats, they've voted in a man who's dead. Okay, and they also voted a guy called John Fetterman in Pennsylvania. John Fetterman had a stroke and can hardly put two words together. And they voted him in as a senator. So this is how stupid and how ridiculous this is, that politics has become it's not about what you can do for your country. It's about I'm not voting for Donald Trump. So basically, whether Donald Trump's good for the America or Ron DeSantis, who probably will run as president and could be president, whether they take an issue or take a view on it and decide that this is the way to go, I can only do. But America at the moment, just like here, is becoming very segregated from Democrat and Republican, and it's going to happen here too. Labour and right, they've got the left and the right, and you're going to have that because I can't see any way around it. I can't. I just cannot see. I cannot see how this government, which is now a neo-Labour government, and the Labour Party, what's the differential? They're both spending money and trying to. It's and the gas star, absolutely.
It's two wings. It's two wings of the same bird. It's an oxymoron. It's like the two words.
Aren't we? We're stuck paying for it.
Well, yes and no, Mike. Yes and no. It depends on what you believe in. If you believe in these things to be real and to be true, then yes, they are, because you've put the faith and the credence into it. But if you choose to say no, I'm not participating, then that's a different scenario. What we're hoping to bring to people in the next few months is how you can cancel your agreement with government, because it is only an agreement. So let's say me, you, we're quite outspoken, we're quite voicey. Let's say me, you, Chrissy Morris, and probably after chat room, let's say we got 100 of us together and we said, righto, okay, we're going to open up a new nightclub. So we open up a new nightclub and we're going to say it's going to do this, it's going to do that. If we're going to make decisions, we're generally going to be with the majority. And if we have people come in and start kicking off and that, we're going to out them. And we're going to be, not look too favourably upon them. And this is what we live in. We live in a system where we've agreed to be part of the club. We are in agreement with the majority. Now, when you live in that and you're living in this society, you have to do what the majority say. But there's always this, you can cancel that agreement. You can say, no thanks, don't want to be part of that club no more. And this is what we're working on. We're working on saying, we're here, we're alive, we don't want to be part of your group no more. We're cancelling the agreement. Now, what I've studied over the years is I've studied law, I've studied Magna Carta, I've studied Charter of Liberties, I've studied so much commercial law, statute law. I'm fed up and sick with the amount of law that I've read. I've read loads and loads and loads, but to ill effect. And I've come to some truths over the last few days on this group that I'm with and I'm learning from all the time, is that a private agreement is stronger and takes precedence over any law. So when you're trying to go to the DVLA and saying, I want to use my roads and that, and they're coming back and, basically washing their hands of you and saying, we're not listening to it, is because of you're in the group and they have the majority. And because there's an agreement between you and you sign that agreement, that's the problem. We have to learn as people to remove these agreements with governments. And once we start removing these agreements with them, then maybe, just maybe, we'll start getting back to being a decent people, loving, caring, and sharing everything amongst each other again. Just maybe. But it's an agreement to be part of a club. That's why we're all in this mess, brother.
Yeah, but the thing is, let's get back to what I said, Dave. I mean, we're paying our dues for it. We're paying taxes. We're paying council tax. We don't have to pay council tax. We don't have to pay any fucking thing, really. It all comes down into believing that to what we say and what you say and what everybody else says can be believed by the general population. Now, the general population were to believe what's said in sites like this, on forums like this, then you get 25 million people go, fuck you, we ain't paying. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? What are they going to say? They'll say, right, we won't repair the roads.
No, they can't. No, they can't do that because they've already agreed to be partakers in the group. If you don't remove yourself from the group,
it's the threat. It's the threat that they throw at you that people are prepared to believe. They listen. They say, if you don't do as we tell you, we're going to do this. So we know that they can do mostly fuck all, nothing. They got the zip on us, and we only give them that by putting a little cross on a piece of paper saying, we trust you to do what we want you to do.
But that's your agreement to be part of the group. And once you've agreed to be part of the group and you sign that and you put a cross in the box, you waiver everything for the majority. If the majority of that group say you're going to jump 6 feet high and you're going to wear green leprechaun shoes on a Friday, and if you don't, we're going to throw you in the slammer, guess what? That's what you have to do. But You can remove yourself from a group. If you go to a gym and you start getting bullied, you can remove yourself. And we absolutely have the right. And now Chrissy Morris has just made a fabulous point. Consent removes the error. All right, consent. We as a people, we now have to start removing the agreement that we've got involved in. We've got involved with this government via an agreement. We have to start as individuals. We have to start removing the agreements and saying we don't want to be part of your club no more. Have a nice time. Leave us alone. And we can do that. And this is the things we're starting to put into place now. So we have got a very interesting future coming, because never really in the history of the last 300-400 years have we ever figured this out. But we've now realized that if we're signing things, we're agreeing. So it doesn't matter if you get 36 and a 30 and you start writing letters to the coppers, I'm not paying this, I'm not this and that. Of course they ignore you, because you've not removed the agreement. And this is basic fundamentals. Your agreement, your signing of that removes, they can do what they like with you, because you're agreeing to be part of that majority, that society, whatever it is. But this is where mankind has to now step up, grow up, pull our pants up and say, we're fine. We're gonna cancel that agreement now, and we're coming back to our dominion interest, our proper natural right dominion interest. And trust me, we're gonna make it happen, Mike. We're gonna make this happen.
Because at some point, I think as it gets towards perhaps early next year, perhaps you should do half an hour, just letting people know exactly what they can and can't do about council tax. Because council tax now is going to be the government just removed the cap. You can't do more on this, you can't do more on that. So the councils now come and say, we want another 20%. They really want to. I mean, I'm not going to fucking pay. Who's going to pay? I mean, they're going to ask for 5,000 quid to live here. I'm going to go. I'm going to say what Alan says. Sorry, I don't think it's his value for money. I ain't paying it. I'm not paying that. I'm not paying that. What are you giving me to? Well, I paid $4,000 last year. Okay. Now, what are you exactly? So, what are you giving me for? What am I getting for $4,000? Explain. Police don't turn up. If the police not interested.
No, they do. They do when bailiffs are involved.
Exactly.
They're there quick as that.
That's exactly my next point. So when they go, they say, well, we provide the police service. We fund the police. I said, yeah, because you use them as your sheriffs. They come. When you want to enforce people summons because they don't pay their council tax, you send the police around with them. Why is that? They're not there for that. They're there for.
They are there for that. That's what they're there for. That's what they are there for. They're the Rottweiler.
Exactly. They're not there. They cannot enforce a bailiff's warrant.
Well, when they were sworn, when they were proper sworn, they were Jack Russells, because they were a service like the fire service and prison service and all that. They were clipped in their wings with certain things they couldn't do. They had to abide by the Constitution. The Constitution said everyone is equal before the law, no one's above the law. But they turned into a force, and they put this word in, right, all since 1972, since all this corruption, and then no one paid attention to that particular word. Now, police force means basically we're going to be able to beat the shit out of you. There ain't nothing you're going to... Look, I've always said, who's coming to save you when they're at your door, they're cuffing you because the bailiff wants to sweep you? Well, there you go. So they've become...
Okay, I've always said it. If you need help, who would you ask for? Who would you... If someone's coming banging on the door saying, do that, who are you going to call? The police, they're going to take this over to you as a crime number. Might get round in a week or two. It's an absolute fucking joke. There is nowhere to go when you're in trouble. They're not interested. They don't care. They're not interested in anything other than money. That's all it comes down. That's all the police are interested in. And that's why the NSA are in trouble. And I know that for a fact, because I've got somebody I know has been incarcerated for nearly 3 years, been found guilty. Now they've finally realised that the police have been using intimidation to make sure that a 9-man jury finds him guilty. They took 3.
You can't have a 9-man. See that again is just a complete.
It's a joke.
Mockery.
It's
a joke. But don't forget.
A 6-month
no,
trial.
hang on. Let's get to the crux. I want to try and bring some remedies in here so that you can try and maybe get your head around this. It's not effrontery because we've agreed to the majority rule. We've agreed to their terms and conditions. And this is the problem. If they want it to go down to a two-man jury, get rid of the two-man jury and go to just to two judges. They will do, and they can do, because we are all agreeing to their terms and conditions, and we've all got to start stopping agreeing to them terms and conditions. We've got to remove all them agreements, and then we get back to freedom.
Well,
Truthfully, I've
well,
always wondered, Mark, right? I've always wondered why we're taught common law, we're taught commerce law, we get so passionate, we scream at bailiffs when they come to the doors, the police don't take notice. I've always wondered, why is it? Why is it they're not paying attention? Why is it they're doing this? Why are they getting away with it? The reason why they're getting away with it is because we haven't removed the agreement. We have agreed to the majority rule, and that's all the police are working on, bruv. The majority.
yeah, but they got no jurisdiction for a bailiff's warrant.
They have, because when you go voting and the majority, we might not agree with the majority, but 65 million people in this country said, yeah, we're happy being bashed over the head. We're happy paying council tax. We're happy having our pants pulled down every month. We don't care about it.
Really?
But
Who in
of
their
course
right
they are.
who in their right mind next year is going to pay council tax?
They are. But this is the system is bringing about, in some ways, it's bringing about its own demand. Unless people really start getting back to the fundamentals of what is decent, fair, proper, what the world really is and how it really should operate under natural law and decency and stuff, then we're in for a bit of a hiding. And we are bringing about our own. Just funnily enough, there was a video I watched years and years ago. It was about this so-called alien that they had trapped in Area 51, and I think Jordan was going out and giving it a blowjob once or twice a week just to keep it spiced up a little bit. But they sat with it and they asked it what would be the ending of the world, and this alien said mankind would destruct itself through religion and dogma. That would be
Absolutely.
what would end mankind: religion and dogma, and he ain't too far wrong.
No, he's absolutely well. Religion's killing the country, killing the world anyway. The divide of politics is becoming a religion. And it really is. I mean, people. I cannot see how can you vote for someone who promotes or allows people to roam the streets in a feral manner to do what they like, and then without fear of prosecution. How we won't
Well,
prosecute that? Nobody's ruined. No, you can go into a shop, rob it, but nobody's been hurt, so we won't arrest them.
total control.
That's right. What
Total
way?
control.
Yeah, the only
Total
way.
control. Total
No,
destruction of the people.
let us carry
Total
guns.
control. Hang on. Total control of the people. When a copper got murdered up at Westminster years ago, I heard these fateful words by a radio reporter that put a microphone in the face of a Londoner. This man from the radio asked this Londoner, "What do you make of what's happened today with this policeman being murdered on Westminster Bridge?" And his words were to this reporter, "It's so sad, but we've come to accept it."
Oh, that's the point.
That should ring alarm bells through all of you. We've come to accept it, and I could tell in his spirit that he'd been kicked sideways. They've come to accept these things. There's no more fight in them. They're just rolling over. But them times are going to be changing, because where they're going to go when they can't pay this and they can't pay that, and all their smart meters start going off because they can't pay the bills. This is real big times coming, Michael, and only people that think outside the box and that have put certain measures in place. Look, we know the system's a bastard. But we are going to listen. We're going to bring it back straight, mate. We've got to. We've got a duty, and we've got so many people out there. Chrissy Morris said something to me years ago. He said, "We've got to appeal to the people in council flats, people that ain't got access to this and that." He said there was someone asked him once for a tenner, and he asked them why they wanted a tenner. He said, "So I can go and put credit on my mobile phone." We've forgotten all about these people in council flats. I mean, how much of a hammering are they having right now? How much of the spirit have they had knocked out of them? It's disgusting.
They're given nothing. They should be grateful they got a roof over their head. That's the attitude.
Yeah, but whoever give the councils the right to own all the land? Whoever give the DVLA the right to own the roads? Nobody, because once we remove the agreement to say happy days, we're here, we've got dominion, we don't want to be part of your group anymore, then things might change. But all the time people are happy going along voting for this, worried about what politician's going to come in. My dad a few years ago made me laugh, right? Because one day he's ringing me, oh, we've got Boris now. I said, Dad, he ain't a fucking saviour, he's just a naughty boy. He said, oh no, he's going to straighten it all out, he's going to stop the dinghy divers, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. And anyway, Boris has been in about a year, and the dad's on the phone, he starts whinging about Boris. I said, Dad, don't want to hear it. He said, why not? I said, I don't want to fucking hear it, because you wanted this fucker in, and now you want him out. It's like bread and circuses with the Romans. It drives me mad. People don't apply their minds.
Well, because they've been brainwashed mostly.
Oh, yeah, hugely so.
They accept it because that's all they know. It's only when the enlightened, like Christy Morris yourself, all these sort of people talk about start straightening people out and say this is the reality. This is the reality. This is what you can. Yeah, absolutely. Can I buy a text?
That's what she asked him. Can I buy a text? Can I buy a text? Some woman walked past him, or some individual walked past Chrissy Morris and said, can I buy a text? Could on it, eh? It's no, we are, Mike. I mean, you can see it coming. You've done well over the years. I've done all right. And even we're all starting to feel it now. So many people like Middle England, they're all feeling it. And we all have a duty and obligation.
The thing is, I don't think the world is ready for the world population to work. Is waking up to reality. Unfortunately, you've got a lot of it's the minorities running the army. It's the minorities who are out, who think they're in step. Everybody else is playing the game and sort of trying to make a living and live their lives. But these fuckers are coming along saying, well, you know, your kid who's 2 told me he wants to be a girl. You know, your kid, I'm teaching him about pornography. I'm teaching your kid about communism. I'm teaching your kid about, you know, sharing everything. No one should be rich and living in communes. The utopia. It's bollocks. And that's what this is coming to. It is, as like we've all said all the way through this, ever since we've been doing this, it's about control. It's about taking away our fundamental right to be free. Now, we're free. I think I'm a free man. But am I? Am I free? No, I'm not, because I can't go out and you say this poor woman, she went out to express for free speech and she gets sectioned. So I mean, you go to the speakers call and they start talking about Christianity, and you get a load of Muslims slagging you off, want to beat you up. That's where it all comes to. You've got no right in this country as an Englishman, no rights left at all. They've all been given away to people from other countries. Because we're a decent race of people, and we just go, well, you know, it'll be all right. But it's not all right now. It isn't all right. What's happening now is everything we held dear has been taken away from us, bit by bit, edged away, given away. We've got 40,000 fucking people turned up who want to be housed and now complain the food ain't good enough and we don't like living in 4-star hotels. Well, I tell you what, it's now got the point. That guy who loved that fucking, he's right wing. Was he just a guy who was totally fucked off and thought, I've got to do something? I've fucking had this, because that's basically what it comes down to. People are going to start going, I fucking had enough of this. I'm not doing this. I'm not going to have it. And then you're going to get, hopefully, you're going to get a huge amount of people going to say, on an estate, perhaps a council estate, say, we can't afford to pay the rent the council take. So what are you going to do? Send your boys around, see what they end up with. When you've got about 500 or 600 people standing there, they're going to defend their fucking homes against the police and everybody else. What are they going to do? What are the police going to do? Tear gas them?
Where do you think the police's heads are at, Mike? I keep coming back to these people, but they are the can in the worm that's jumped out of its box in public sector. You don't see the fire brigade doing stuff like this. You don't really see the NHS doing this. We know what goes in the NHS. I'll talk to you about that in a second with a guy this week with his dad being jabbed against his will and his wish. But where must the copper's head be to just be blindly following all these orders now, not knowing that in the background it's them and their families that are next on the chopping block? Because these energy companies don't care whether you're a policeman, whether you're a road sweeper, whether you're a toilet cleaner, whether you're a plumber. If you ain't paying the bill because you can't, they're still going to come in. So all you police out there that must tune in and watch, God bless you all. You are next on the fucking list, boys and girls. Let me tell you, you ain't getting spared. You ain't getting spared.
It's the Carlos remove and replace tyrannical government, the only way civil war. Well, that's basically what's coming. I mean, it has to come. There's not going to be a world war. It's going to be a war of attrition between us and the ruling class, and they
It
can't.
is attrition.
They
Yeah,
cannot,
it is.
because there's more of us than there is of them, and basically we hold the purse strings, because they might have a load of money in tax, and we go, fuck you, we're not paying our mortgages, not going to pay anything, not going to pay anything. The country's done, because there's no such thing as money. So what they're going to do? What they're going to do? Get everybody to sign an agreement and create some more.
You take the monetary system, you take the money out the equation, and everything comes back to some sort of normality and decency. This guy come during the week here. He picked up a load of scrap and he took it down and weighed it all in. But he was telling me about his dad. His dad's just coming up for 80, and he's been in hospital. And he's kicking off because they're badgering him about something, and he's going, I ain't having this, I ain't having that, you're going against my rights, my religion, my beliefs, blah blah blah. Next thing, they've just jabbed him, he's out fucking cold on a slab and he's off in La La Land. But they've done that against his will and his wish. Now I think that's wholly wrong, man. I don't care. I don't care if someone says no, that means no. If a woman says no to a man's advances, it means no. If a child tells an adult to get off them, that means no. Whoever give these people in the medical profession the right to, once you're adamantly saying, I'd rather die than have these jabs, whoever give them the fucking right to just jab the shit out of you? It's a Mengele situation, bruv.
Dave, you know as well, it can only be that they're committing genocide against the population. Why is it, we said this in the pre, I think we said, why is it that nurses, all masked up, had the jabs, can walk around the hospital, okay, and tend to people, okay, but the people, their loved ones, all jabbed up, apparently, and with everything on, couldn't? Why is it they weren't allowed to see their loved ones? It's because these loved ones were being fucking systematically murdered. And that's got to be the case, because so many people died mysteriously. They were all right, like I said about earlier. It's genocide. It's been perpetrated on the population. It's still going on. And we talk about the nurses, and there's a lot of good nurses out there, but there's a lot of people out there who want to make money. And the nurses now going, fuck, a lot of you all going on strike. Well, if that's a nurse, and under 1,000 nurses, whatever, all go on strike. Who's going to look after the sick and the infirm? Are you telling me that these women are going to get up, walk away, leave babies in their cots to die? Is that what they do? Because if they do that, then they should all be put in prison. They should all be arrested for homicide. Now,
it's a tough one, because I think the whole system is very hinged on scarcity, necessity, when it's because it's become all this centralized thing. Everything's got centralized, and this has all happened for a reason. The food industry, everything is all centralized. Why is it all centralized? Because you can't hold no fucker accountable. Whenever you try and ring a minister or you want to hold someone accountable in the DVLA, they disappear. You cannot hold anyone in the system accountable for fucking anything unless you're a bit of a wizard and you're good in courts. You might, by some miracle, get something like that sorted out. But this is our fault because we've let this happen. We used to do things locally. We would have a local doctor, a local plumber, a local butcher, a local this, a local that, and everyone generally fucking knew each other, a local midwife. So the midwife would pop round and pop your fucking baby out your missus's vagina. It was all local, but we've gone to this centralized. You've got these massive big fucking buildings now that are so cold as ice with the doors firmly shut if they don't like what you're saying and how you're talking and how you're being. That's communism, brother. That's fascism. That is exactly what that's all that is. We are not as England used to be. And this has been slowly, slowly, slowly. No one's paid attention. No one, like years ago, even if you want to put a fence up between your neighbour, you went to court and discussed it in court. You didn't go to a council. Everything was done. Men and women used to go to court to get things hammered out in a court. Who are these councils now? Oh, councils. You can't do this. You can't build this. You can't do that. Mate, we have become sucker punched in this country, and we are hell bent in paying the price for it now, big time. And if you want to find out the truth and you want to find out what's gone, go back in history and see how we used to be when we were quite a polite, well mannered individuals. So just go back into history. It tells you all the answers you want.
It all comes down to one thing: money. It comes down to one thing: money. Everything's about money. It's about we can't afford this, we can't do that because it's money, money, money. Where's the money coming from? Well, what is money? I mean, it's like we all say, don't we? Every week, you go and buy a house, costs you 500 grand. Okay, so you sign a bit of paper, and all of a sudden you've got it. Well, where's the 500 grand? You ain't got stacks of £50 notes, or you like to see it. So anyhow, shove it in a wheelbarrow and walk it around, is it? So where does the money come? We all know it's created on your signature, isn't it? So
I'm going on Sunday to a couple's house in Ashford. They're having stand in the park. I'm going to be going down there. I think it's about lunchtime. If anyone wants to come, find me on Facebook or anyone get hold of me, and I'll give you the links. It's going to be quite a few people there, but they're having it. Keith's having it at his house, so hopefully, there's going to be quite a lot of people there. People are starting now to work things out, and this is the thing. The system's doing what the system does, but even fascist leaders in the past have said all the time they're trying to get their fascism into place, they've got a time limit. And if they don't continue and get that job done within that time limit, people start to work things out. And that's exactly what we've got going on here. People are now starting to work things out. It's fabulous to see. It really is.
Well, that's because of lockdown. I mean, that's work. That's. I always thought, well, we'll lock everybody down. Yeah, we'll sort this. All right, we'll lock everybody down for 2 years, okay? But while we're all sitting there doing nothing, we weren't. They were sitting there going, well, let's have a look at this, and people start getting real. And it's not just. It's become. It's like a bit of a. It's not a tsunami yet, but I think it'll get there. But very strong groundswell of people now more clued up about what it can do and what they listen to people like you and Chris Morris and all the people that go on around and listen to people saying, the reality is this is what you can and can't do. This is what you're being led. You're being led. You don't need to do this. You don't need to do that. And the only reason they do it is because that's all they thought they were. They thought they were legally responsible. Well, you're not. Dominic Raab wants to bring back the Bill of Rights. What do you mean bring it back? What does he mean by bring it back?
It's never gone anywhere. This is the trouble.
I mean, the thing is, the Bill of Rights is for this country. That's what the bill, and we don't adhere.
Hang on a sec. Right, let's just look at this logically and rationally. So the Bill of Rights is there, right? We know it's there. We know it's constitutional law. Now let's say that you're the DVLA and I'm the peasant. If you send me out a bit of paper in the post and say, Dave, I'm Mr. DVLA, sign and return this. What's stronger?
Well, you are by not signing it.
No. What is the stronger? Is the Bill of Rights or the agreement between me and you that I've signed? No. It's the agreement between me and you that's stronger because I've signed it.
Only if you sign it, though. Your signature.
That's what I'm saying. So you send it out, I consider it, I sign it, send it back to you. So then you're holding that.
You're contracted. You've made a contract.
There you go.
But if you don't sign it, it's like a speeding ticket. It's a speeding ticket.
Yeah.
If you don't sign it, they've got no jurisdiction over you.
Absolutely right. And if you Google what is English law, it will say English law is a law of contract. And that's as simple as it is. So, yes, the Bill of Rights is still there. Yes, the Constitution is still as firm and as bold as you like. However, unless you have a dominion interest and you give up the agreement with the group, you have no right to the law. No right whatsoever. Until you get back your dominion interest, you don't. That is in law. That's a fact in law. If you don't have dominion, you have no right to the law. Period. That's a fact. That's job done, mate. Well, this is why.
it gets back to as an example, it gets back to council tax. Um, they renew
It's
it every
contract.
year, and you sign every year. You renew your contract. Now, if nobody signs a contract that says, "No, no, I'm not going to pay." You've got to justify what you're asking me to pay. Justify that before I do anything. I want to go. I want to go and say, I want you to explain to me what am I giving you this money for. And they say, well, you pay for this. I'm sorry, I don't pay. I don't. I'm not the beneficiary of any of those. I'm not. The police force doesn't work. Police will don't what they do for us. Nothing. Police were only interested in fucking looking up. They don't do this. And the NHS, they always pay for ambulance service. That's the NHS. But they toppled education. What education? A load of fucking communists teaching their kids pornography. I don't subscribe to that. I'm not paying for that. Why should I pay for that? I don't agree with that. All this stuff. Oh, we pay for this. We pay. It's bullshit. We pay for old people. We pay for bus passes. I say, do you? You pay for bus passes, but you're moving it, inching it along so everybody don't get a bus pass. And what does it actually cost? It comes out of central government. Bullshit. So, I mean, as far as we're concerned, as far as I'm concerned now, nobody should pay their council tax. Let them take it to court and say, I want to know what I'm paying for. The only reason I'm not paying it is because I want to know what I'm paying for. I'm not paying for something I'm not getting.
If you go back to if you go back to the 1930s, that era, prior to about 100 years ago, pretty much every man and woman on this globe in this Western Hemisphere were in a status called private. They kept their own family Bibles. They went to church. They put their children in the books of the records there, right? Okay. And then all of a sudden, about 100 years ago, now look at 100 years in the length of humanity. Mankind has been here for a long time. So in 100 years, they've tried to do this and turn us all into this public, whatever it is. Now, a lot of the people in this country have already figured this one out. We're already figuring out how to get back to our original domicile, our original dominion jurisdiction, and that takes us back to the private. So, in essence, when you look that this thing's been in for 100 years and it's failing already, it's doomed. It is doomed, brother. We all need to get back to being private men and women, looking after our own families, our own affairs, and government can go small again, which I'm hoping that will happen at some point in the future. But people say, yeah, but you can't pay for this, you can't pay for that. Let me tell you something now. Prior to 100 years ago, the thing that paid for infrastructure was business. It was only businesses. It was only that commercial industry, high streets industry that was taxed pretty much, and that paid for the roads, the buildings, the schools, and everything. And that really much how this system should be set up. You want to have a commercial business, you pay your taxes. Just let private men and women go back to being private and making their own decisions, and then that means we get back mankind as it should be.
Yeah, bang on, Dave. That brings you back to Parliament then, because a majority of people in Parliament have never held a job in their life. They're career politicians. They don't know
No,
how
but
to.
we're getting rid of the agreement, Mike. I don't
No,
think
I
you
know that.
understand. We're cancelling the
I
agreement.
appreciate that, but nobody understands what agreements are. Those people sitting in Parliament ain't got a fucking clue about business. You've got some people in there who understand business and are businessmen, but majority of people in there haven't got a clue. They come out of university and they go to work for in the constituency as a private secretary or just like an administrator. And very quickly they made a councillor, so they run the council. We all know that's not a business; that's a racket. So then they get elected to Parliament, and what do they do when they're in Parliament? Nothing. What does an MP actually do for you? What does an
That,
MP actually
yeah, but
do?
it doesn't matter. That's part of the swindle. That is their game. That's when they're winning. When they're acting dumb, make no mistake about it, they're not stupid people. They know exactly what they're doing. This is all part of how their swindle works, Mike. It
It,
works perfectly.
it, it,
When
that,
you're blaming Bob, or you're blaming Bill, or you're blaming Mary in accounts, and someone's on the phone getting very irate because they can't get a straight answer, and you come on the TV, you act like a right knob. Listen, Boris Johnson, right, was seen doing this umbrella thing. It was going inside out, and he's putting all these funny faces. He looked a clown, but let me tell you, deep down, that man's as devious as a fucking devil,
absolutely.
and
You know
he
that.
knew exactly what he was doing. They all know what part they're playing. Trust me, they really do.
Well,
We
you
think
say,
they don't, think
Dave,
they're not, but they do.
if you put your hand on your heart. in this country, if you say there was 1,000 people in this country, just for argument's sake, how many of those 1,000 people, other than the people who are the elites, everything else, these 1,000 people that do the voting, actually trust a politician?
No one.
Exactly. So why do we vote them in? Why do we vote for these fuckers? What is the point of
Because
don't
they
trust them?
can't they can't see a way out, and because they can't see a way out, their efforts are in vain. But give them a different solution, remove yourself from the group, cancel the agreement, and let's go back to living our lives, and we'll see it all collapse. It might, you know, all our families have been grown up with this, Mike. They've grown up, they've believed in it, they've had it drummed into them. You've got to vote. The women, they died for the vote. Most women say, you've got to vote, you don't use your vote, blah, 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 blah. But they don't understand the system they're living in. If they knew, if they genuinely knew the proper truth of how the judges operate, how the land laws properly operate in this country, and how proper land is divided, and how you should be getting your share. Man, if people, and and let me tell you, getting back to Dominion is the land of milk and honey. You get back there ain't no man in the DVLA coming to my view. There ain't no man in government coming to my view, because you've got yourself straight, and this is where we've all gone wrong. We are keep throwing fuel on the fire. The machine's going yink, 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 yink. That's all it does. Take Ukraine. All you get on the TV, Ukraine. Everything's zipped about Libya, Afghanistan, Iraq, and all the misery we've caused out there. Do you see them all screaming out on the telly? No, but because Ukraine suits the politicians' agenda and they're waving these bits, well, of course they're screaming about it. But they don't talk about all these other things where they've caused all this misery. See, and this is the problem. Government get on the telly, their big propaganda machine, and say tomorrow you got to worship green fucking crocodiles and fucking wear Pinocchio on your head. You'd be seeing everybody out on the street doing exactly that, because it's all parrot fashion. Can't apply their mind no more. They don't know their own minds, bro.
Dave, old men start wars, young men fight them. Okay, and what we've got
Generally.
is a sack of old shits in there who are doing the most despicable things around the globe. Iran, Saudi Arabia, the Middle East, basically, is a powder keg, you know, of anger. Okay, and it's been like this since I can remember and beyond. You know, you go back to, you know, Britain was there, had Iraq with BP when it took the oil and started taking oil out. Okay, you go back to Egypt when that was a British colony. All that part of that always stability around the world. I'm going to sound a bit jingoistic here, but when Britain ruled the planet, Egypt, all that, there wasn't a real big, there wasn't no real trouble. We seem to contain the problem, and we dealt with the problem internally. Okay, and we were good at politics. We were good at foreign. You know, we had great foreign. The foreign office in the 18th century had 26 people working for it. It's 150,000 now. We're in the foreign office. I mean, it's ridiculous. So 26 people run the foreign office, and we had a massive empire. You know, we had America. We had
there you go.
France. France. Well, we should have had France. Well, we used to have France, you know, but fucking John started pissed it all up, and then Henry V came back, and then we lost it. But anyway, but that's beside the point. Is
have you seen what they're going to be doing this Sunday?
About what?
In Sinai, in Egypt, they're going up to write a new 10 Commandments. No, they are. This is what the woke brigade, the Israelis out there, whoever in Jerusalem. There's a massive COP20. I don't know who's going. I don't want nothing to do with it.
Thou shalt
not.
There you go. Bullshit.
But they're going to Sinai this Sunday to rewrite and bring in a new 10 Commandments. You can't make this up. These people have lost their minds, bro.
Bollocks. That's absolute bollocks. Dave, I mean, the world's gone back. It really has. It's got the point now where, I mean, just can't believe a fucking word they say. Well, I don't believe it anyway. I mean, I've done it for years. But I mean, looking at the world as it is now, if there is a God, he should come and go, squash us. They fucked a lot of you.
Yeah.
I gave you a paradise.
I agree.
You gave you a paradise, you turned it into a fucking nightmare. I mean, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, I agree. If I was God looking down, I'd be saying, "You fucking lot of idiots, what you playing at?"
I'm sick to death of it. You know, I mean, the thing is, and as you look forward, I mean, we've got Christmas coming up. Christmas. And people are going to sit there. What are you going to get the kids this year? I ain't got any money. You know, I haven't got any money. I can't do it. I've got to pay. I've got to pay. I've got to pay the gas bill. I've got to pay the electricity bill. I've got to pay the council tax. I've got to do this. I've got to pay. And I think what you get, what's it after you paid all your taxes and everything else, you get about 40% of what you earn is yours after you pay all the taxes and everything else. It's bollocks. Absolute fucking sick of it. And but you know, it's how it's always been. I mean, when you go back to the cavemen, it all starts off. Who's the strongest man? He could kill everybody if he wanted to. He becomes the leader, and that's how we get a king. A king
Group mentality.
was only
It's
the
it's
man who could kill more than everybody else. That was it.
it's the
Strong
group.
man.
It's group mentality, and that's the thing. What I'm saying, we're living in this society structure, and none of us seem to have any ability. We all seem to want our freedom, but we don't, because we need to be looking at dominion. We need to be looking at cancelling this social compact, this agreement that we've made, uh, which we've not been given full disclosure to. I'll guarantee you, when I come of age, 16, 18, 21, if someone from government had ever phoned me up and said, "Congratulations, David, very nice to see you got to 18 today, stop masturbating," I'd say, "Well, look, I'm fucking going blind anyway. It is how it is. Do you realise that there's a trust here involved, and do you want to carry on with us administrating it, or do you want to take the helm?" I'd be saying, "Mate, that's it, you're done. I'm the fucking man around here."
Yeah,
So that's what I'm saying. They've lied to us, they've deceived us. Um, and that fraud unravels all, man.
yeah,
But they're getting away with murder because they're bashing us over the head. They've got a Rottweiler now. They've got, since we come off the Constitution, or whatever happened back in the 70s, I don't know. When the police became a force, that was when our troubles really fucking started. And I'm telling you now, if we don't do something about this in the next 3 to 5 years, then you are going to be living in the devil's fucking kingdom. Let me tell you.
sitting there going like this, oh Lucifer, sitting there going, gotcha, lot of you. You're all mine.
He does say, "I shall rise above the stars." And
Yeah,
remember, ladies and gentlemen, we are
absolutely.
the stars.
All
George
mine.
Michael sung a song. George Michael sung a song called "Star People,"
There you go.
and that's what we are when we are stars. But Lucifer says, "I shall rise in the morning, or morning star, rise above the stars." He ain't fucking rising above me and kiss my ass. So, what do you think of them going to doing the Ten Commandments this Sunday? Then rewriting them. It's pathetic, isn't it?
Hey, there's a Ten Commandments that have been here for fucking thousands of years. What are they? If they do that, I think they are signing their own death warrants. Because the first of all, you get the homicidal fucking lunatics who are devout Catholics, who are Christians. They're going to start saying, "You cannot enforce this upon us. Our Ten Commandments are our Ten Commandments. Don't tell me thou shalt not burn fossil fuels. Don't tell me you shall allow your child to be going like." I think just now somebody put up to be transgender, could do what he liked. Don't tell me that everybody's got to be gay. Everybody's going to fuck everybody up the arse because that's basically what they do. Because is that what I want? No, I'm a man. I'm a man, and I know what a woman is. You know what a woman is. Why is it that you get online and say you ask a woman, "What's a woman?" She can't answer it. That's bollocks. Of course, she knows what a woman is. I
I
know what a woman
know.
is. You know what a woman is. I mean, men can have babies. Men can't have babies. Women who say they're men, they can have babies, but they're not fucking men. They're women who change from supposedly a man to a woman. I've got no problem if that's what I'm going to do, but do not fucking ram it down my throat. Do not tell kids that this is at 3 or 4 years old. This is how it's got to be. If you want to be a little girl, don't have to tell your mum. We'll sort it all out for it. And they're 4 or 5 years old looking at pornography. 10 out of give a kid a blowjob at fucking 6. What the fuck is this?
Disgusting.
What is this world coming to? It's gone mad,
It's
so much
the
got
end goal, Michael. It's the end goal is Luciferian. It is Albert Pike's predictions. I've
yeah
said this time and time again. His his is to unleash the nihilists, and when all hope is lost, that they turn in desperation to the
yeah.
full manifestation of Lucifer, the Dark One. So maybe, who knows? And some are saying that this guy going up to Sinai on Sunday could be Lucifer in the flesh, but I don't
Wouldn't it
know,
be
mate. I
great,
don't.
Dave, if just right, I know, wouldn't it be great if there was a strike alarm for thunder and he gets struck down? That would
Wouldn't
be
it be just?
I think I'd reach my Bible and say, this, I'm there, man. I'm there. There's no
I'm
fucking
there.
point. I said, reach for the fucking raise and let's all top ourselves because no point in living because we're going to go to heaven and live in heaven, because that's basically where we, I haven't said that. But
We
it
were
gets
going
to,
to.
the problem is, Dave, there is no disparity between religion and politics. Uh, the Vatican, uh, they were pro-Nazi during the Second World War. They helped a lot of the senior Nazis get away. Who knows? They certainly did with Dr. Mengele and all various other who got to South America. We know that so why is it now? Why we get all surprised and we go, oh, the church? No, they wouldn't do that. Yes, they fucking did, and that's just what they do. So the church and politics are all now the same thing. Go to America, you go to the Department of Justice, it's been politicized. The FBI, it's been politicized. I mean, they've got 13 laws now that mums and dads who go up and complain that I don't want you teaching my kids about pornography. And if they say, because I'll fucking be seeing you, they could be arrested for that by the Homeland Security. They could be prosecuted.
We, we,
Your violence.
we, well, we need to get them out of the group. Then, I mean, I'm going to be doing this myself. I'm in some fabulous groups at the moment, getting back to natural rights, cancelling the agreement. But that is all it is. We are in an agreement, and it is that we have to cancel that agreement. We have to do it properly, very, very properly.
Well, Dave,
But once
you've got to show all these people the way, mate.
I'm going to.
You've got an audience out there who want to know. Chrissy Morris, he understands this stuff, and Del Boy and all those. They understand this stuff. They should be saying, all you should get together and have a forum, hire a fucking great big hall, and see how many people turn up. And I'm quite happy to put a couple of grand in just to see it put to it, and encourage people to come say, you can fuck the system without any fear of prosecution if you follow this way.
I've always felt since I woke up that we need like a bit of a mass exodus. In an exodus in a way that the world's never seen before. Because mankind can't see what some of us can see, and as someone that's passionate about what it is that I do, and many others, we have probably a little bit of a duty to bring people with us. But there is going to be a mass exodus. We've now got the keys to unlock. We need to cancel the agreement that we've ever made with these people. We need to come back to our dominion rights, which are absolute rights, because all men are created equal, and we're going to do it. There is no way this ain't happening. This will happen. And then once we've cancelled all them agreements, then fabulous. We can bring mankind back to some common sense and decency and love. And that's our true purpose, by the way. Our true purpose is not to be living in this artificial thing that we're living in right now. Let me tell you, I never knew my life would be talking this way. If you'd have asked me in my 20s and give me a view of how I would be now at 55, I'd have said, you're doing drugs. I would have said, go fuck yourself. You're talking crazy. But my life has changed. Every molecule in my body vibrates a different frequency now. I talk a different language than I did back when I was in my 20s. And the only thing I can say is I'm a better man for it. Better man by far. Better man by far. And look, we know what the system gets up to. We've all had touches from them, but in essence, I think they know that they can't touch with light workers and decent people, because that brings bad stuff to them. And I'm only here for the light. I'm here for goodness. I'm not here to be a hippie. I'm here to do a job. I haven't got no time for power flower and all this. I've just really not. We've got a job to do, and we need to do it, and we need to get it over and done with. We need to be brave. We need to be bold. We need to stand up, because all the time we're being kicked into that corner like that little skinny dog. At some point, we've got to come out fighting, bro.
Do I was just sitting there thinking, all the weeks and months and years while I've been doing this stuff. This is the first time I think I've been on a program where we've not sat down and had put a smile on our face. It's all been so fucking serious, and that shows you roughly where we are. There is no levity. There is no There doesn't seem to be any happiness in the world. It's all being sucked away by people's fear, and which is being stoked by the media and by people like Rishi Sunak going there and saying, "Oh well, I'm going to concentrate on the economy," and then fucks up to COP27, whatever it is, and he's in a private jet. So all these jets are all sitting out there. We're saving the planet, of course they are, but they're all sitting out there, all with their private jets, and and living up, drinking, or doing what they want while we pay for it all. And but they're all sitting having a laugh on our backs. Okay, but
See this man here.
Yeah.
This man here, that one right there. Now, he phoned me about 2 and a bit years ago, right? He phoned me on a Friday night, Saturday night, about 10 o'clock. And my missus went, "Who's out?" So it's Cole. So I started chatting with him. And I said, "What's up, bro?" He said, "I'm out in my ambulance, Dave." I said, "Oh, you waiting for all the drunks to kick out the pubs?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "They won't be out for about another hour yet." He said, "I'm just sat here with my co-worker and I thought I'd give you a ring." I went, "Sweet as." I'm not going to say where he was working or whatever, but his words to me were, which haunted me a little bit at the time, was he said, "I don't know what to do." I said, "Why? What do you mean you don't know what to do?" He said, "As you know, I'm a paramedic, Dave." I said, "Yeah, I know." He said, "I've been a paramedic for 30 years. I said, "Yeah, good for you, bro. Good for you." He said, "Dave, we're killing people." I went, "Excuse me?" He said, "We in the NHS are killing people." He said, "I'm seeing people going into hospitals that have fallen over, broken a big toenail or broken an eyelash, and they're going out in fucking body bags." He said, "Something's going on." And I'm like, whoa. But
Well,
anyway, I'm very
we know,
pleased to say he doesn't work for the NHS no more.
we
He
know what it
quit.
is. I mean, you've got people like fucking. I mean, why is it someone like Bill Gates, who made his money of Microsoft, all of a sudden becomes a world authority on inoculation of vaccines? What the fuck does he know? Okay, why is he still being allowed to buy up all the agricultural land in America? Why the Chinese actually? That's very nice of him to say that. Do you see that? He loves you, Dave.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I love him too. He's a good boy.
Is there something you want to talk about online, or do you want to leave that to have a little
Well, no,
conversation?
we'll keep that one private. My mate Frank, he got a company on him the other day. It was for something he took out a loan with one of these payday loan things. He's been quite a few years. But what he did, when this letter come through from this company, I'm trying to think what they were called. In a lot of the top bars now, in these letters, you'll get an address, but you'll get this little allocation, like a little a code that you can scan with your phone, like a QR code. And he scanned this QR code, and it was for some big governmental corporation in Japan. And he said to this guy on the phone, he said, "Why?" He said, "Why are you fucking collecting this for so and so from a big corporation in Japan?" He went, "We're not." He said, "You are." He said, He said, "I've scanned the QR code on your paperwork, and you are collecting for some corporation in Japan." What the fuck? Oh, we've got some good news. One of the Rothschilds, blessing me, passed away the other day. Fucking have some of that. One down, about 500 to go.
Well, the nice thing was that during COVID, that their huge castle in Switzerland was stormed. They had to get the army out, all these security. They were trying to get into them and to take the
I
shit.
heard that. I
That
did hear that. Yeah, I did.
They actually stormed, and that's basically what I can see coming here. The elites think they've got us by the nuts, but they can
They
have
haven't.
they haven't. They can have the army, they can have the fucking air force, and whatever. They can have the Royal Navy, they can have the police force. The army, navy, and the air force. Well, I can't see them turning against us as in that way. The stormtroopers, the brown shirts, the police, absolutely. We have Black Rock and Bangor, absolutely, and State Street as well. Don't forget State Street. But I have to say, looking at these people now, you know, who's going to protect them? The police, they can't protect them. They can't protect them from us when we take them out and fucking burn them at the stake, because that's basically what it will come to. It will come to out and out violence, and it will. People will take to the streets, and they'll start going on when they can't eat. When they can't get their kids decent food to eat, they're going to smash their way into shops and take what they need to survive. And that's when it all comes tumbling down. And it can't be far
Yeah.
off because you see, it all comes down to this thing about money. Oh, we printed all this money. What money? Printed what? Did you see any? I didn't see any. Nobody came around and said, "Oh, it's 1,000 quid in cash." You go to the bank now with over £5 grand, try to put it in. You get the DA, get the police round, you get the tax man comes. Where's your money from? Okay, where'd you get the money from? I said, well, as it happens, the government gave me 5,000 quid in cash, so I thought I'd put it in the bank. Yeah, well, we don't believe that. They're talking lie. So they want to know every penny you got. They want to know, and that's why they're going to get rid of cash. That's why it'll be a cashless society. America is edging towards this now anyway. Well, if America goes, then that's basically it. And if we go cashless, we are totally fucked. Absolutely fucked. Because if we have a cashless society, we will have a situation whereby they can dictate where you go, where you travel to, where you go on holiday, where you spend every penny you spend. They will track on your card. Now they do it now. We know they do it now. They do it when we know that even on Facebook and everyone else, Google. I don't put where I am. I take all that off. But every time you spend money, they track where you are, where you've been. And that's basically what it comes to. So
Disgusting, isn't it?
it's right. So when you say, "Oh, I'll tell you what, love, this is all the electric cars. Let's take the car out to, let's go to, let's see, go to Canterbury. If you can go to Canterbury, that is, without being arrested for driving through Canterbury. And you put in your sat nav, because it'll be sat nav. Go to Canterbury. No, can't go to Canterbury. The car won't take you there. Because someone out there will say, no, too many cars go to Canterbury, so you can't go. Where you want to go? So you've got no freedom of movement. And you've got no freedom where to spend your cash. You've got no freedom of nothing. You'll be a prisoner in your own fucking home. And it gets back to this utopian society where they say everything must be between 15 minutes of where you live. So Dave, start moving at your client base between all the only people work you can use or work for are 15 minutes walk away. That's basically what it's coming to.
Well, we can see whatever's coming's going to come. I want to avoid a war. I don't want any of that. And I guess in time will tell how history plays out, because time has always told these. We never ever thought certain things in time would happen, from tsunamis to wars, but they did, and they formulate part of our history. So time has this funny way of just, you might get up in the morning, go out in your car, not expecting to have an accident like me Saturday. Next thing I'm thinking, fuck me, I'm lucky not to be dead. But that's the problem. This is the thing. History and time go hand in hand. So what comes in the future, I don't really know. But I know that if this continued attack on people, normal everyday. Look, I've got a mate that's got two young daughters. They're living in Cambridge now. He works for BMW. He goes out, puts the cars back on the road when they break down. And when I was with him earlier on last year, having a few Guinnesses at this party, he was seething blood. And this guy's a cage fighter, judo champion. He's a fucking handful. And he's going to me, Dave, if I didn't have my wife and kids, he said, I'd be up that parliament now, dragging them out and killing them. And I'm like, fucking hell.
It's coming, Dave. It's coming. I mean, and I said it before, I'll see you on the barricades, because basically that's where you come down. You will have to fucking fight tooth and nail everything you got. The good thing is that I think people are starting to, as they said, a lot of people on the ticker tape, on the below, have all been saying it, that there is now a groundswell of people saying enough is enough. And and we are not prepared now to be pushed around and fucking dictated to like this. This is still a democracy. We still have the right to say you can do the fucking off. It's still our basic right to vote these people out. When we vote them out, is who we vote in. Now, total power corrupts totally, and that's basically what goes wrong. If you made me a new prime minister, what would I do? I don't know what I'd do if I was prime. I know I wouldn't have a shit show like this right now. I know I get my priorities right, and my priorities right are children, educate the kids, and make sure that we've got a healthy society and well defended, because it's incumbent on the prime minister and the government defence of the realm. That's the most important thing. And what they do in the cutting the defence budget again. You've
got to put God back in Parliament, brother.
Yeah, but you see, the thing is, they don't show prayers anymore. They used to show prayers when they first started. That's where. So when you go to Parliament, you see lots of people have their own seats, and you see on the back a little white card. The only way they can get a guaranteed seat is if they turn up for prayers in the morning. But they don't show you because that's hardly anybody there. Hardly anybody else. They don't believe, none of them believe in God. All they believe in is their own piss and importance and a pound note. That's basically what it comes down to. I mean, we've got that fucking idiot we've got as, what's her name? The MP, what's her name? Helen Grant. What's Helen Grant done for you or me? Nothing.
Nothing.
If you go there, I've written to her 4 or 5 times. I've got two responses. Oh, Helen's very busy at the moment. She's doing this and doing that. I said, oh, no, she's not. No, she's not. Don't lie to me. And they don't respond.
See, this is what I'm saying. There is no accountability.
And there's no recourse at the moment. Now, these people.
No, there isn't.
That's right. Now, these people, if they don't respond to you as they're legally obligated to, not just a computer responding, to write to you and make your concern their concern, they take it to the highest level. That's what they're supposed to do. But how many of them do it? Oh, my MP. So what the fuck is the point of having 650 people sitting in a place going, yeah, boo, sucks to you? They're not saying that to each other. They're saying that to us because they're sitting there taking the
kids. Mikey, they're nicking our homes, they're nicking our kids, they're nicking our cars, they're nicking our property, they're nicking our souls, and we cannot hold them accountable. They have shut up shop, mate.
Yet, but you know, who pays the piper calls the tune, right? But the piper must be paid, and now it's time for us to start collecting because there's no fucking way. We're all going to sit here for much longer, right, and take this shit. This stuff saying we got to. Everybody's got to have a £10,000 heat pump. We got to have solar panels. Wind farms are the way forward. It's bollocks. This country cannot live on that. We should have bought when we did Sizewell. I was on the inquiry for Sizewell B. Sizewell B should have had C, D, E, F, and G, and H, and I, and J. All around the country. We wouldn't be in this fucking show if we had the nuclear power station, which we should have. They wouldn't build them. They want someone else to come along and build them. So we got to cut this. My mate works for the Atomic Energy Association. You'll tell what fucking shit state it's in. I mean, you've got Sellafield, which is a great thing, but it's only one. We've got Sizewell. They're talking about, still umming and ahhing about Sizewell C. I mean, for fuck's sake. I mean, we need nuclear power. I mean, they say, well, we don't nuclear. What the fuck's the sun? It's the biggest fucking nuclear explosion in the unit, in our So they talk about radiation. I don't mind sitting in and getting radiation fucking burns by sunstroke. That's radiation burn. They don't mind that.
Nipples.
Exactly. You like your nipples, baby. Don't we know that? But we'll talk about that later. But unless you all want to know. But I have to say, nuclear power is the only secure way of ensuring that this country is self-sufficient in electricity. And if we'd done those 20, 30 years ago, we would have enough energy to supply the country and also sell it abroad to the frogs and everybody else and make a fucking fortune. And we wouldn't be paying all this money. We'd be making money out of the things that and what we've done. Fuck all.
I think countries should get back to their own dominion. They should look after their own affairs, pick their own land, and all this.
And the other thing to say is that Nicola Sturgeon, Jimmy Cranky, the Queen of Scotland. Now she's turned around and they'd be saying, Scotland, it will produce 25% of solar energy and wind power and all that stuff. No, it's not. They've just done an FOI, freedom of information, and they suddenly worked out that they're working on stuff that was produced 30, 40 years ago. Okay, it's actually 3 or 4% of total wind and power of Europe. Okay, now let us talk about Scotland is part of the United Kingdom. Absolutely, she's not. Now, I think I actually think
she's new Macron.
Now she could be she could be transgender. But let's be honest, there's nothing feminine about Jimmy Crank, is there? I mean, she's a nasty piece of work. I mean, she's got a mouth like a fucking slit, like you got when it's just a nasty piece of work. I mean,
have we got anything nice to say about her? Not really. No.
I mean, we're the biggest trading part. Over 60% of what they produce comes to the United Kingdom, comes south of the border in Ireland. Okay, and what they're going to do when they go, we've got to build a wall across that because we're going in the EU. No, they're not going in the EU. The Scots ain't that fucking stupid. I admire the Scots. They've given us great engineers. They've given us great writers and poets. They've done the most amazing stuff in the world. They are one of the major contributors. They're not going to throw that away because some dwarf has turned around and said, "Oh, we want independence." Independence for what? What do you want? They more or less run the country, and look at the fucking shit show they made of it. I mean, they are the worst country in the world when it comes to drug addicts and suicide. It's appalling up there. And they should have a world-leading education system. It's right down the ranking. It's gone nowhere. It's a fucking joke.
We need some love, Mike. We
We
need
do.
some love.
You've got my love, Dave, and I've got my love to everybody out there who sits and watches this.
Before we end the show, I was listening to John Harris's podcast. It was when he addressed the TPUC crew, and he said that after he lost his dad, because his dad used to drive for Bowes Lions in the royal household, Queen Mother. His dad died when John was young, so he started self-harming and tried to kill himself. He said it was only when he took these desperate measures that he found anybody in the system ever paid him any affection and showed him love. And this is why he continued to self-harm. And in the end, he ended up in an asylum for a bit, but he's fine now. But that's quite a sad statement to say, that the only time he got any love and affection from anyone in the system was when he was self-harming. Man, we are a loveless fucking country. We really are.
When you talk about self-harm, what about the self-harm this country does to itself? The
That's
self-harm.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, this country now has gone to this COP20 fucking several areas, this bollocks. They all sit there like feeling rather pleased with their fucking self, and all sitting there chatting away saying, "Oh, we're going to do green this, green that," and all of a sudden they go, "Oh, what about the poor nations that we have infected with our pollution?" The bullshit. So we're going to have to come up with even more money. They want us to pay more money in reparations for destroying their countries because of the pollution that we have fucking. Have you ever been to Africa? Have you seen out the African people? Their streets are filthy dirty. They don't clean up after themselves. Now, Agnes, did we cause that? No, we didn't. African people, when they come to this country, they become decent. They're decent people. They do a good job. They go to work and that sort of stuff. However, went back in their own countries, they got no idea how to run the country. They don't keep it clean. They don't keep it, and that's why Nigeria should be one of the richest countries in the world. It's got more oil than it should have. And what they're doing with it, squandered it like most African countries have over the years. They don't know that, when we left Nigeria, it was in a great show, like Kenya. But what have these countries become, like Zimbabwe, which is Northern Rhodesia, as North and South Rhodesia, because you're not allowed to say that, but now it's Zimbabwe. What have these countries become? Zimbabwe is one of the jewels of Africa, and look at it. And it's right, Cockney. It's absolutely right. It's because of corruption. Absolutely fucking right. And it's the epitome of where we are with everything in the world. That the elites sit in their gilded palaces, surrounded by servants, eating the best food, while the poor fuckers who have to go and die in their fucking thousands on a yearly to scratch a living, to keep that fucking arsehole
That's coming here, love. That's coming here. This is what they want us for us. Anyway, we're coming up to the end of the show, Mike. I want to end it because it's 22-22. 22-22, and I like them numbers.
I'm just trying to find this little thing here. I've got to find. Oh yeah.
Let's have a little outro from young Mike.
Now you're going to have to all bear with me on this because I'm going to say the C word, right? Now, cunt. It's since 1544. Hang on, okay. Cunt was an ancient term that meant faithful and loyal friend. To have a cunt meant having a friend who always had your back, never abandoned you, and provided friendship and support even though hard times. Society encouraged each other to value being a cunt above all other virtue. Now, it gets back to this. It's the interpretation. So basically, if we go to court and say he called me up, you say, yeah, but obviously that was a term of endearment as far as I know. He's a nice guy. I was just calling him a friend. No, that's it. It's in the dictionary.
Good.
Dictionary. Oh, we got a laugh at last. We got a laugh. So sorry about the word, but I'm just.
No. Listen, it's a term of endearment. Spear throwers in the foxhole after the show. He says you're all welcome to come and join us. Guys and girls, I want to thank my co-host, Michael Reynolds, as always, for being just as fabulous as ever. And I think he's had 4 bottles of wine tonight. But he is my favourite cunt in the whole wide world. He really is. And I love him dearly. Oh, he's on the volley.
Ian Botham. Oh, by the way, what's really good is we should go like this because England kicked the shit out of the Indians today in the T20. We beat them by 10 wickets. we made they made 168 for 6, and we made 170 for none, for no wickets. So England, and then yesterday our girls, our rugby league girls, the Lionesses, these absolutely tore the fucking Papua New Guineans, who beat them last time on TV. What's it, about 40 something 4. So it was a fabulous. Well, of course, when it comes to our footballers, once they've had their nails done and done the makeup and everything and their image rights, it'll be different. They'll fall over. I've raised my leg. I've got to go. I'm sick for a year. I'm 200 grand a year every year while I'm sick. Bullshit. Anyway.
God bless you, Michael. We'll see all you gorgeous people next week. Thanks for tuning in as always and ripping the knob off and daring to care. Please share it with your friends, your family, your loved one. We love every single one of you. From my house to Michael's house, we all wish you the God bless. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and may all your balls on your bums be small ones. We'll see you soon.